People are keen on various investments, and stock investment is the most popular choice.
People don't understand their natural advantages, and they don't use them. That's bad, number one. But worse, number two, if you don't think you're a good ice skater, or if you're convinced you're not a good cellist, you're not going to go out and try it. But people are buying stocks anyway. They're not discouraged, they just think it's a gamble.
We began with Peter Lynch. Time magazine has called him America's #1 money manager. During the 13 years he headed the Fidelity Magellan Fund, it was a top-ranked general equity mutual fund. His new book, Beating the Street, offers advice on picking stocks and maximizing profits, and he's here to talk to us about a lot of things. Peter, welcome to the broadcast. You wrote a book called One Up on Wall Street, and I think that's one of the best-selling books ever about Wall Street, if I'm not correct, and you can correct me. And so why then did you write another book?
Okay. I think the reason I wrote it is
if these people are making a good product, then their earnings are going to go up, therefore the stock's going to go up. And that's the kind of decision-making process you ought to go through. Do I have it?
You've got it exactly right. Well, I don't think people understand there's 100% correlation with what happens to a company's earnings over several years and what happens to the stock. If the company, McDonald's, has done very well as a company, the stock has done very well. People worry about too much money supply, what's happened to the price of oil, who's the president, who's being nominated for the Supreme Court,
it's all
the ozone layer. It has nothing to do. McDonald's earnings go up the next 10 years, the stock will go up.
But what they will say to you, Peter, is that, as you know, and why am I telling you this, but it's fun to tell you this, they're telling you that these other things influence the amount of earnings of a particular company. If we're in a recession, people are not going to spend as much money on going to the movies or whatever they do. And therefore, you got to pay attention to these other things because they impact on earnings.
They are very important. Listen, we had the worst recession since the Depression. I didn't read about it in the paper. So it's crazy to think about these things.
Here's a quote from you. I own Dunkin' Donuts. When you own Dunkin' Donuts, you don't have to worry about Korean imports. You don't have to worry about M2 or M3. These are money supply figures, aren't they? And what's happening to the money supply? This is the way you make money. If you don't understand what the company does, you should not be in it. If you could predict the stock market, you could predict the economy, you could predict interest rates. If you go buy the wrong stocks, you're going to lose half your money anyway.
I'm saying people have natural advantages. Let's say what you do for a living is you're involved in the restaurant industry. You supply paper products. You supply kitchen equipment. You help build restaurants. You saw McDonald's. You saw Chi-Chi's. You saw Chili's. You saw Cracker Barrel. You saw Dunkin' Donuts, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Taco Bell.
These are all success stories.
These were 40-fold. You made 40 to 50 times your money. You don't need to make that kind of money many times in your life, right?
No.
That's all you had to do was follow the restaurant industry. People are in industries. They're in the publishing industry. They're in the chemical industry, the paper. Why don't they just stay with that industry? You only need a few stocks a decade. How many good stocks do you need in a lifetime? Instead of people, they're in the restaurant industry, they're buying biotechnology stocks. The people in the chemical industry
nothing about biotech.
The people in the chemical industry are buying oil stocks. It's absolutely absurd. People don't understand their natural advantages, and they don't use them. So that's bad, number one.
One-to-one stock investment services. Recent hot stock picks. Our in-house investment team works to find and track and achieve the best results for our clients. Our team of professional financial analysts and portfolio managers carefully monitor each holding and do all of the buying and selling within your portfolio.
Based on estimations provided by Bloomberg and quarterly reports, NVIDIA's revenue is primarily derived from 4 well-known stocks within the Magnificent Seven: Microsoft, Meta, Alphabet, and Amazon. The largest transfer comes from Microsoft, whose expenditures make up 19% of NVIDIA's total revenue. The world's most valuable company is Microsoft. With this, the company's largest client by far, triple that of Alphabet and Amazon, and nearly doubling that of Meta. Furthermore, according to statistics from Bloomberg, NVIDIA receives 45% of Microsoft's capital expenditures, whereas the chipmaker only receives 15% of Alphabet's investments. For instance, this data serves as a reminder that in the AI jungle, chipmakers take the lead in eating, well before hyperscalers are able to provide investors with much more than mere clues on when their investments in AI would start to generate revenue. NVIDIA's stock performance has been astounding as a result of the company's triple-digit earnings growth. Over the last 5 years, the technological giant's shares have increased by 2,500%. Additionally, despite a recent slowdown in price performance, shares have still increased by roughly 120% since the beginning of the year. The explanation for this rise is straightforward. NVIDIA has established a strong presence in artificial intelligence, AI, one of the fastest-growing areas in the world today. The company's outstanding graphics processing units, GPUs, have allowed it to command 80% of the market for AI chips. Important AI operations like training and inferring large language models, LLMs, are powered by these CPUs. Some investors are now speculating as to whether NVIDIA's greatest growth wave is finished, as other chip companies introduce products to compete with its flagship chip. However, I believe that something specific, which is almost here, will be NVIDIA's greatest growth engine to date.
These kids had to study companies. They had to look at their balance sheets to see if they're solvent. And they picked stocks. These stocks were up 69% over 2 years when the market was up only 20. And they picked stocks like Limited, they picked the Gap, they picked